young people from very different worlds brought together in wartime East Anglia. 93-year-old Iris Oakley met Sergeant James Bennicky in Norwich. He was based at Horham Airfield in Suffolk, and within 3 months they were married.
He asked me to marry him. And he said, I don't want your answer now. He said, because it's a big decision. I said, yes, I will. We had to meet the chaplain and we had to meet the commanding officer. And they do their best to talk you out of it. His mother wasn't very happy about, this is just a wartime thing, you know, shouldn't be. He said, if I don't marry her now, I'll come back after the war and marry her.
Going to a new life in a new world, the 626 GI brides and their babies board the American ship Argentina at Southampton. They waved their goodbyes happily enough, but when the camera wasn't looking, quite a few of them shed a tear.
It wasn't until I was halfway across I suddenly realised there's so much water. What have I done?
For 20-year-old Iris, her destination was Wisconsin.
Never seen snow like it. And all we had were ordinary shoes on. We went to the shops, and it's a big department store, and because the lights, everything was so bright, and because we'd been in blackout, and the women were dressed in fur and bright colours, and it was quite something to see.
Iris and Jim's son was born 3 years later, but sadly he never really knew his father because Jim died of polio. Iris eventually returned to Essex.
So far, their new homes are just names on a luggage label. Soon they'll see what life in the States is like in reality.
And it wasn't always as they'd expected.
You came across stories of women being hoodwinked, basically, of thinking that they were going to a paradise and finding they were living in a shack in the Arkansas woods without any facilities. My mother landed on her feet in that my dad, lived very well in New York and San Francisco.
Jack Rosenthal was a GI baby. His father, Edwin, was stationed at Leiston Airfield with the 8th Air Force. His mother grew up in nearby Noddleshall. Even though their marriage didn't last, Hilda kept all the letters sent during their courtship.
My boss doesn't want me to change the schedule unless there is a pretty good reason. Are you a good reason?
Unusually, Hilda and Edwin chose to live in the UK, but many of these women who left to begin a new life in America often didn't return. Sally Warren's Auntie Joyce from Great Cornard only visited once after marrying Cliff Knight, who'd been stationed in Sudbury.
My nan and granddad did stay up all night trying to persuade her not to go, but she was so in love, there was going to be no stopping her. But I think they were heartbroken. I don't think they ever really fully got over her going out there.
Not everyone got their happily ever after. With interracial marriage illegal in around 30 American states, relationships between black GIs and their white British girlfriends often didn't last. And some children have never known their fathers, unlike these who were reunited with them after the war.
And just to remind them that their ship is a bit of America, there are bananas and 5-course meals aboard and a shop where they have no use for coupons.
I always think of that time. It's always there. And as I get older, it's there more than ever. All those memories come back.
The majority of the Americans were in East Anglia for just 3 years, but more than 7 decades on, their impact on local lives continues. Victoria Lampard, ITV News.